the situation on the ground in Gaza is still incredibly severe. And I spoke to a friend of mine who's a doctor in central Gaza, and he said that as per the agreement, medical supplies don't come in until 22 days after the ceasefire. So they haven't come in yet. And of course, this is a big problem because there are so many people who have been wounded and are suffering, even if they haven't been wounded by the bombing. There's, I mean, just the issue of living in these conditions for so long.
Yeah.
These are health risks.
Well, and Israel blew up almost all the hospitals intentionally because they wanted disease and illness to kill thousands.
Right. So the extreme shortages of equipment are ongoing. Having to operate without any kind of anesthesia and things like that, that's ongoing. As Mondo Weiss reports here, this is spread to the numerous diseases due to devastated infrastructure, environmental pollution, lack of basic health services, overcrowded refugee camps and displacement shelters, and shortages of water and electricity. In fact, this is one of the things that Amnesty International pointed out, is that part of the genocide, which they called genocide, was the lack of water, people literally dying of thirst. So among the issues, one of the most prevalent diseases in Gaza is hepatitis A, which is caused by drinking contaminated water. Israel destroyed Gaza's water and sewage networks, and people have had no choice but to rely on polluted water sources for survival, which is leading, of course, to a widespread outbreak of the virus. Thousands of Palestinians have taken refuge in crowded schools, hospitals, or tent encampments, with only one bathroom on average for some 700 people, causing the disease to spread like wildfire. And basically they're giving information about what hepatitis A looks like, and that this is, of course, people are at risk of passing this on to children, and that people can die from this. And especially when people are experiencing extreme physical stress due to the other situations that they're living with. Of course, food poisoning, this is something that's common because the food that does get through is oftentimes expired, and Israel's well aware of this. It's part of their sadism, is to send in food that is either past or very close to its expiration date. Scabies is another problem. And yeah, just like everything from skin issues to internal issues. A 14-year-old boy contracted scabies, and there's no treatment. And something like that, where like you and I, if we get scabies, we can go to the doctor and they give us some ointment or whatever the hell they give you for scabies. I don't know. God, I hope I never get it. There is no access to simple things like that. My friend in central Gaza said that he would give people an Advil when he was going to perform an amputation. It's like, that's not, I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's what do you have? You have nothing.
But people should know that this didn't start on October 7th, which is part of the reason October 7th happened. Israel has long tried to make it so that Gaza does not have the appropriate medical supplies, cannot adequately save people that should be easy to save. In order to get out of Gaza and go to a hospital that can more effectively treat things like breast cancer, you had to get permission from Israel because it is a prison, and Israel would give that permission to a tiny percentage of those who requested it. So even though breast cancer is something like it only kills like 10% of those who get it, or somewhere around there, in Gaza it's like 80%. That's pre-October 7th. Mm-hmm. So I just want people to realize that this type of savagery started before October 7th, and it's just been amped up by 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a theme for today, let it be the continuation of these issues. So nothing started on October 7th, and Trump didn't start this horrific project called the United States. And this could be a nice segue if we're going to cover this story. But the other issue is the air quality. I mean, imagine what the air quality is like when you're breathing in, hundreds, if not thousands, of the fallout of 2,000-pound bombs. I mean, it over and over again every single day for more than a year, in places that have had already environmental issues and no access to clean water and things like that. People are dealing with extreme respiratory issues and infections and diseases that are, of course, exacerbated and then fatal because of the situations there. So I think it's important that we recognize that these issues even if the ceasefire holds, which of course we all want it to, there are issues that are generational that we will keep seeing for decades and decades to come, much like we see in the wake of every U.S. endeavor, whether that be Vietnam or Iraq or indeed Palestine. And it's important to not forget that and to remember that we have a role to play in dismantling these systems. Also, just want to remind folks that I do have a fundraiser going on my via Instagram at Radical Eleanor for doctors in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to check that out, just go to my Instagram page at Radical Eleanor, and there's information there.